Hi there, welcome to Carcassonne today with a double header. Four masters, DrCaiHan from China versus crocodilefundy from the USA, and later in about an hour, phosphate also from China versus texe, I don't know, from Spain. Let's take a quick look at Croc's itinerary so far. Yesterday he was able to beat phosphate. Can't speak about that one because I haven't had the time to check the replays nor watch the stream. Later on, Croc will face Complex V&H and Joao Margarido. Currently, after 2 wins, of course, he is in a playoff spot, but definitely would need another win, preferably a clean sweep. I don't know which of these 3 games he'd be more likely to win. He definitely has a chance in all 3. So we'll just see for today. And Doctor was able to beat UI Scooty in the second round, lost the first match against Sporta. Has definitely easier opponents left in rounds 4 and 5. Then Croc versus Gladky and Kreukle. I definitely say the Doctor should be the favorite, but we'll see about that in later weeks, of course. Hey, Helge. And then later, Phosphate versus, I forgot, let's check, texe again, I don't know. Well, the Spaniard with 2 close matches so far, also in a playoff spot, definitely needs another win, possibly even 2, because the tiebreaker so far isn't really that good. Yeah, definitely has to win versus Kreukle and today's match, and well, the one versus Sporta should be a tad easier than Phosphate. At least I think Phosphate is the best player of the 3 Texe still has to face. And Phosphate's schedule, Waiguru with doesn't get any easier, so definitely tough. Croc's rating top 760, quite likely, and the Doctor 780, I think. Oh, we'll see. And they haven't started yet. Okay, so maybe I could have taken a bit more time. Yeah, nice to know they are now friends, but no tournament setup. So I would expect a regular game with a slow time starting, I don't know, about now. Yep, both are online. Okay, great, Helge. Try to visualize the board. I won't do radio just for you, but maybe I'll keep that in mind. So, yeah, if they haven't started the match yet, well, that's actually bad news for us. Because then it might overlap when it quite definitely will overlap the 14 UTC match if the Doctor and crocodilefundy would need a decider, because both are rather slow players, usually taking around, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 minutes per game, at least for the Champions League. Yeah, Nicola, great idea, but I definitely will refrain from adding coordinates just for Helge's sake. He just has to deal with it. Hey, Juan as well. Yeah, so, well, boys, what's up here? Why don't you just start? Don't let me hang in here. Okay, then if they don't wanna, yeah, now let me check. Okay, I'm in the right tab. Well then, let's use another tab and let's check out if I manage to type the Nick phosphate stats for now. So they are definitely more experienced in Azul, but managed to become a Carcassonne master last year as well. Yeah, with only 1,500 games, roughly, quick ascent into the master ranks, and then they were more or less able to hold on to at least an 600 something rating. And still nothing between Doctor and Croc. We'll see. Then let's check Dash's stats. Again, one of you is sure how this nickname should be pronounced. Just let me know. Oh, this looks like someone has played quite a lot. All these roughly 100 points oscillations speak volumes. Well, about playing quite a lot of matches in rather quick succession. So at least within a few days, quite likely. So 15K games played, and the trend is pretty positive overall. Currently, basically since the start of autumn of last year, holding on to the master rating. Peak rating looks like 780, maybe even 790 something. Still nothing from the Doctor and Croc. Starting time hasn't changed as of yet. Croc is still online, and here we go. Finally, 5 minutes too late, but at least we had a bit of time to prepare the next match. So let's see. I would expect, as I said earlier, a rather slow pace here, so roughly 20-25 minutes per game, unless, of course, one of these games might become a blowout, then this sure might change. So both more or less starting with default moves here. Yeah, not sure what the Doctor really is thinking about, but that is an interesting approach, to say the least. He goes for, well, this restriction, hoping to draw a city plus road tile before their opponent gets a city plus field tile. And I'm not really convinced that's the best approach, but at least it takes away the ideal continuation of blue city with extenders or twin caps. So blue got the twin caps nonetheless. Tagged a yellow city on the right side, of course. And now hopes to claim the bigger city on the left side with any of the 7 remaining big city tiles, although in this case, when there's also yellow's road involved here, quite likely they'd hope to draw one of the triple cities, so that if yellow were to get something to attack, then at least they'd restrict their road as well. Whereas with the quad city, yellow could continue the road while also attacking the city. But we'll see. Let me quickly check. Okay, so this here was in place earlier. Blue restricted the road connection, which gives them the chance to dump even more of the rather useless straits there. But at least all these are 1 point for them per tile, and yellow won't share these points. Yeah, and now that the doctor tried to harass this square, blue got the triple city tile, but immediately the horse pushed the city towards yellow's Dorito, of course. Now that situation is pretty tricky for yellow. The extender really isn't the prime piece to use there, because that grants immediate attacking options to blue. The the cow definitely would be the preferred option. The problem though is they need any piece which connects and use it immediately, as there are still 2 twin caps out there, and this move by crocodilefundy I don't like one bit. Just imagine your opponent drawing a rotary to immediately, then you give them 3 chances with the cow to take over the city, and basically, if it closes, win the game on the spot. Why don't you just wait? It's way too antsy, and also a pretty useful tile with which you could have scored 2 points while also setting up the cap to be used later next to your monastery. Yeah. But if yellow doesn't go for the indirect defense, then of course blue has to kill this. Oh, he doesn't? Okay, no, he hasn't. Yeah, actually he's right. He still has the 2 meeples to close the city, 2 meeples, 2 pieces to close the city, versus 1 for the doctor. So a roughly 66% chance to close his city. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, you could have won the mini battle. Quite likely, at least, even if yellow were later able to pad their side of the ring. Yeah, still not convinced that this curve placement was ideal, but it should have never been in the cards anyway, because these rows here, don't like it, still don't like it. Yep. Lovia summarizes this quite succinctly. What a greedy sequence by blue. Indeed. Yeah, so the one reason for this here, of course, is if blue would have gotten the twin caps, then yellow would have had at least 1 chance to attack the city, and in some specific cases even still take it over. But with the risk of these 3 road Doritos here and still 1 horse, so at least 4 tiles out of, I don't know, 50. for the worst case, but that's still too much. I think that the winning chances for blue would have been better if they had refrained from using the rows here. Yeah, the doctor closes his side of the city just in case blue draws the remaining twin caps, because yellow got one in the meantime. They at least get a bit of compensation with their own city there. On the left side, yellow added another monastery, which looks totally fine there. There's also this very juicy monastery square available. Someone might even be inclined to further add some things up top to pad it even more, which would be at this stage to yellow's advantage, because they have this monastery and definitely would like this square to be filled. No matter who'd go there, at least they'd get the meeple back. Interesting choice by blue, closing this shared city to get a meeple back ASAP. But considering yellow only needs a curve or a monastery or a rose to get one meeple back, while blue would need one of the left-handed daggers, still two remaining, or of course the twin caps to get meeples back with one tile. Definitely in blue's interest to get the second one, as yellow way more likely to get another one, and then at least blue's meeple minority would be 2 to 3 and not 1 to 2, so they can spend one of these meeples, take, for example, something like a city cap somewhere safe. Yeah, especially with the extender still in the deck, that would be a good idea. So yellow restricts the shared X monastery square to one of 4 vanillas. Also a nice idea actually, because then they'd score 4 points, which is of course less than if you'd use a monastery there, but at least they wouldn't have to leave their monk there. So without expanding a meeple, that's always nice. And here we go, there's the situation I mentioned. Blue takes a cap with their penultimate meeple. City gets immediately restricted by yellow with the quad, and yellow now gets the road closed while also meepling this 4-point city and creating a 9, soon to be 12-point field. And I think blue should have considered not meepling this one, and if so, maybe even to claim the field, because that's exactly what yellow will do now. The only question is where to do this, and well, the place is for sure this one. So the rotation, we'll see. Yeah, there are no starting tiles left, so this works. Any Dorito or triple city, there's one each left to kill both road meeple and blue city at the bottom, but blue will prevent that quite. Yeah, I do understand this under normal circumstances. but I'm not really sure it's the right approach this time. On the other hand, there are only 2 pieces to block both road and city. Yeah, yellow closes a 5-point road up top, leaves the farmer there, just in case blue gets the twin caps. They can't take the 6-point field, and yellow gets even more compensation. Yellow blocks the road end for blue, but there's still a rose left, which would then give blue chance to maybe snatch a future 8-point city. For now, blue liberates both yellows and their own monk, while me playing a 6-point road monastery here. Yeah, yellow with the penultimate left-handed dagger, so there's only 1 left for blue to close the small city on the right side, while also claiming a 4-point road, or maybe in the later stages of the game, well, let's say on their 2 or 3 last moves, a field as well. Okay, the field option just has gone out of the window because yellow claimed this field, also leaving this cap there, which is quite likely to become a city with still quite a lot of caps remaining. Perfect piece for yellow, of course, would be the splitter. Claim 4 points and add another cap. Yeah, tough situation for blue. So, but they still have 2 hot irons here. One was the elephant in the room, the big city up top, which is basically 50-50 flip now. And then the city at the bottom, which is still alive. And in some cases, if they were forced, they could even go for a field attack there if they need to, and there'd still be 2 caps remaining, although it's rather unlikely that yellow wouldn't immediately block the square, so maybe scratch that. Yeah. Now blue has the monastery in hand, and there's a prime spot here for 8 points. I mean, they have 2 pieces left, maybe even 3, because if yellow gets the extender, they'd close the city as well. So it's rather likely for blue to get a meeple back. Yeah, here we go. They in fact claimed the 8-point monastery just to play as efficiently as possible. And the caps, for example, blue would put here. And did I say something about the rose in the last 20 seconds? I don't think so. So the rose would grant blue another meeple back as well, while leaving a possible 11-point move for yellow, although that's not a huge deal, or when there's also a 7-pointer available, but still maybe yellow even claims both cities. That would be a pretty terrible situation for blue. But we'd see. At least best news is yellow just drew a curve, which they really can't use for a lot of ideas. Maybe trying to go for city restriction at the bottom would be an idea. On the other hand, they could take away something over here next to Blue's Monastery, but that doesn't really look like it's necessary. Okay, they extend the field. or maybe to go there, which could still work. But here we go. There are the twin caps for blue. And now they have a 7-point lead and 2 meeples in hand with still 4 moves to go. Good news for yellow, though, they get the rose, so blue's road at least is toast. Yellow claims 3 points, while also adding another cap on one of their fields. And that might have been the reason for this curve placement, and if so, that was very well spotted. But here we go. 1 cap in blue's hand. +4. Tricky situation, to say the least. They could try and close their city, but that move could backfire quite severely, because then they'd create an option for yellow to equalize the city, which might lose blue the game. So maybe with all the connection options still left here for this square, why don't we just attack one of yellow's fields? It's a 0-point move, yes, but the potential is there. And there's only 1 tile to restrict the square left in the deck, but 3 to connect. On the other hand, they could, of course, just take 1 point, but I think taking 1 point doesn't cut it. Then there would also be this city on the left next to their monastery, which at least would be a 3-point move. What should be a 3-point move, Nicola? This one? This is a 0-point move. Yellow gets 3 points, blue gets 3 points. Other ideas, tricky to come by. Yeah, and they take the city, not the field. Okay, so 1 point only. Let's see. But at least they took the right city, so not this one. Else yellow, of course, would jump on this chance, but now they can't. But there is still a splitter in the deck, so they should do this one. Don't see a better move. I mean, if they get the splitter, they'd get 5 points for the city, 3 points for the field, another 2, or rather 3 points for a secondary field. That's a mischance, I think. Yeah, sure, if they get the cow. Maybe it was correct, though, because they could use the dagger profitably anyway, but yeah, not sure, actually. This would need deeper analysis. So we still have the dagger in the deck, which would be very nice for blue. Scoring 4 points, so 3 for the city as well, but these 3 would go to oh no, sorry, forgot that this is on yellow's field as well. So actually the dagger would be a prime piece for yellow, scoring them 7 points, 6 for the fields, -3 for blue city, and 4 for the road. So blue doesn't have to take care of this cap, as there's none left, and well, they have to go up top. guaranteed connection with any of the remaining tiles. And I think a winning move in both permutations. Okay, yeah, Glovia concurs regarding the extender move here. So thanks for the confirmation. In the end, it doesn't matter because blue wins no matter what. So quick look at the stats. If that's correct, which might very well be, then blue definitely got the better pieces here. 15 out of 22 caps. That, of course, is always nice to have. Let me expand a bit. Yeah, and both road monasteries as well. Yeah, what could go wrong? Well, Doritos are usually prime tiles to build cities as well, and 8 for the doctor were quite nice, but wasn't enough. Yeah, okay, so Glovia adds to this situation here. If yellow later gets the cow, of course, they could take this ruin here, and they had 4 meeples in hand, so could use 1 meeple per turn. And this way, no matter which pieces they would have gotten, no points would have been lost. Yep, thanks again, G. So let's check. Have they set up the next one already? Looks like it. So only a quick break. Yeah, I don't get this. I mean, if someone's in a game, why doesn't BGA show me the game? Okay, here we go. Oh, haven't checked the timing, but looks to be 25 minutes per player. Let's quickly check. 25 minutes for the total game, and yeah, more or less as expected. Croc with 11, the dog with 12 minutes used. Yeah, and yellow takes their time, thinking about the possible placement for the quad crossroad. This here definitely leaves fewer tiles for blue to continue their city on the right side. On the other hand, yellow could play this and then just wait for 2 more Doritos while the city would be protected from immediate diagonal attacks. But I don't think this wants more than 20-30 seconds to think about it. So this looks to me more like the doctor has some connection issues, or just hasn't noticed that the game did already start. So almost 90 seconds wasted. Well, we'll see. In a close game, this could come back and bite him. Yeah, why not restrict Blue City while also at least getting some compensation if they close or continue this one. On the other hand, of course, there is the loop road, but if you claim the loop road, use this one, then you still have this option and don't give blue an option to indirectly protect their city here. which of course, as we've witnessed, blue didn't do. And then gave yellow on this here, which could have led to a restriction of blue cities, so rather imprecise moves. Same goes for this one. Yeah, sure. The other options weren't really great, but that's still no reason to close a secure single cap when there are still all 3 daggers and all 3 win caps out there. I actually don't know how often I've said this in the last weeks here, but looks like not every master has read the book of Krishna. The principle of multiple cities. Well, not everyone adheres to it. Yeah, the dock with multiple options, likely closing this road. It's the third crossroad. Limitation from the bottom would be annoying. Also, slight possibility of pushing loose road into the square and restricting this to the 2 remaining right-handed daggers. Yeah, blue threatens to snatch a juicy, what is it, 16-18 point city. Yellow immediately creates a platform to counter. Blue actually could defend. Yeah, actually, crossroads aren't that bad, giving only road ends for yellow to create options. Whereas this and all 5 road Doritos are still out there. But they didn't, and yellow got the splitter, takes a 6-point field. Quite likely blue will jump on this one here. So fields are more or less equalized. Of course, connection still missing. It's very likely that this square will be filled later on as well. Yeah. Doc doesn't like to claim this cap because then the city would have been restricted on the right side with, well, at this stage, quite a lot of city plus road tiles already gone. And also next to this road, also then 2 features next to Blue's road. That's not ideal as well. So he just takes away this monastery spot. And after Blue graciously provides the option to take this city with a field Dorito, he jumps on the chance, of course. I mean, not sure why Blue didn't use this one if they want to claim a loop, which would have also dumped at least a city part onto their field for now. But they did get saved by the deck, at least temporarily. They were able to attack Yellow City. Of course, re-attack still possible. Splitter, well, 1 is still in a deck. Yellow can't attack, but finds a good move nonetheless, pushing Blue's road in the direction of the city. Some cases, all these 3 meeples might die on this hill here, and also claiming a city cap just in case I mean, there are still extenders and twin caps out there, so it's always good to have an open city cap. Blue with the monastery, at least sharing these 3 squares here with yellow, while also being able to build up the monastery on the left side, going for a restriction or kill. Winning a mini battle to force 2 dead meeples of yellow versus 1 of their own. Didn't work out, at least not yet. Let's see if they continue to harass yellow there. For now, blue was able to connect to yellow city and also threatens the takeover. Yellow with the cautious move up top, adding 1 point to the monastery, bringing this closer to completion, of course, but maybe even more relevant is taking away options to enlarge that field, which currently would be to blue's advantage because right now they have more meeples in hand. In the long run, though, I think it's more likely that yellow will have the meeple majority. The road, monastery, city, maybe even the other monastery are rather easy to liberate, which can't really be said about blue city meeples. It's rather likely that yellow will play against the city later on. But on the other hand, 3 perfect pieces over here, and blue, well, quite likely would win the game if they manage to close this city. For now, at least, blue secures the road. Still a lot of road ends out there for crossroad. If you don't have a better place for the road monastery, well, those as well. Blue's extender here try to at least participate in the monastery's success. On the other hand, they entered a mini battle without the need to. Maybe just dumping the extender up top, trying to go for the restriction, or taking the city with the cap, or a cap rather, should have been considered. Quite likely this would have been the better move. Now this gets restricted. Only 1 dagger left. They protect, but of course have to take this one. With only 1 splitter left, something like this here would be rather devastating to blue's chances. And all this because they were pretty greedy with this extender. Yeah, in terms of field expansion and harassing blue city, this is nice. Creating this 4-point loop, which anyone could take. I'm not sure about. I don't see the reason for blue to take 2 points, even if this creates a possible 4-point loop. If they could have taken these 4, because the 2 plus 4 points in 50% of the cases is an expected value of 4 points. And here you could take 4 and also prevent yellow taking these 4. So that's definitely the better move, even if it creates this field attacking option. I mean, in some cases, you just nix this one, threatening even killing this square. So would have liked that one for sure, at least definitely over this one. Still a lot of curves to go, so even if the dagger hits, he could claim the road nonetheless, or maybe later add a curve, like, for example, now. In the end, he has to think whether it's worth adding the curve here to restrict this square. I mean, at least this takes away vanillas and field Doritos. Yeah, and also with a crossroad, there'd only be the one remaining road monastery left. Blue goes for immediate completion of their city. Because, of course, there's only one dagger left, and more relevant, this year would have given yellow this chance to unite the fields. So yellow opts to restrict this city on the bottom side to a 50-50 as well, but also cuts off their backdoor opportunity to unite the fields. And then blue was lucky enough to draw one of the two remaining crossroads before yellow got their hands on one of the connection pieces. And now there's only the road monastery left for yellow to connect. And the score is still pretty close. There is a 6, possibly even 9-point field later at the bottom, which quite likely blue will claim. Maybe not now, although they could actually. Could also go for loop here. The loop, though, has one problem, and that's expanding the field by 3 points, which could backfire, as yellow might claim the field. Yeah, this works as well. At least they take away the horse as completion tile to yellow's road. So yellow took away caps to close that one, only the dagger left, which blue might use up top. Right now, I'd say it's unlikely because this here scores 7. And at the top, they'd get less. For now, it doesn't look like yellow will be able to force blue to somehow attack the top field after blue got the remaining road monastery. Yellow's farmer here will suffer. But yellow found a good move nonetheless, restricting blue's city connection square to the one and only horse. But the problem for yellow is they are still down by 11 points. Basically, all the quick point scoring options are in blue's favor. So this road, this cap. Yeah, looks like yellow has to hope to get the dagger and maybe even close the road. Get the twin caps. Possibly try to attack the the field again, because the field is worth 12 right now, might be worth 15 after a dagger move up top, and that could then be enough to win the game. So in some cases, yellow might even need to add their last meeple on the farm and bank their game on drawing the dagger. But even that one could not be enough if blue finds some points somewhere. Now they, for example, could add this Dorito on their field. I mean, there are still caps to close this. They don't care though. They prefer to add 2 points instead of 1. Of course, endangering this connection. Not a fan actually, because with this 50-50 flip, which would grant them these 10 points plus 4, that's 14 on top of the 11 they already had on the virtual scoreboard. So definitely a game-winning move, no matter how the top field turns out in the end. Yeah, I think playing it a bit slower, adding this to the monastery or doing something else, although with their last meeple I can't really claim a 6-point ruin, for example. Yeah, so this here would quite likely would have been my preference. Yeah, yellow does what they have to do. They kill this connection. On the other hand, they could have gone for the 50-50, but minus 14. Well, they still have this option, and therefore blue quite likely just has to pre-close their city. Yes, there are options then to take over the field, but that's not a big problem if you are at a plus 14 and the field's worth 15, even if your city gets closed 18. That could be enough. Okay, they opt for this one, which works, giving them another chance to close a city on their field. A chance, though, that won't manifest because yellow quite likely would kill this. They don't. Okay. But how would yellow then like to win if they now also need to draw the splitters to prevent a 7-point move there? So for now, it's a 4-point move while also getting a meeple back. Blue adds this one here, which is really, really nice because it basically takes away this attacking option. Because with the horse, Dorito or splitter, blue could immediately kill this one if yellow goes for the curve here. And the other option of yellow drawing the horse doesn't really matter because either that's killed or blue just equalizes here with another farm of their own. So if blue wants to kill this, that would work. But actually, they don't have to. They could as well take the points here. Although, yeah, they could, right? Is there any other option? There's this ninja, but that's killed with any remaining tile as well. I don't see anything else, well, except for this one, but why would blue do that? And frankly, why do they claim 5 points if they could claim 6 points? Just to prevent this attack from yellow? Doesn't make sense to me, because if yellow would expend the remaining 2 moves just to equalize the ruin, which doesn't cover the spread on the scoreboard. Doesn't make sense at all. Yeah. I don't get this. Nonetheless, at plus 15, it seems to be game over. Ah, the 4-point road. Oh. Thanks, Polo. Yeah. Okay, the 4-point road here. Okay, but actually doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all, because yellow only has 2 moves left, and whether blue scores 6 and yellow 4, or blue 5 and yellow 3, 4 points up top, rather, doesn't matter at all, right? I mean, there is a 4-point spot for the curve, and now there are 2 3-point spots for the straight. Basically, there's another 3-point spot for the straight as well. So still doesn't make sense to me. In the end, good for blue. It doesn't matter. Oh, there is, by the way, another field attack which I didn't see until now, and that's this one. But the doctor would have needed, of course, one of these road pieces to go there. And even then he would have lost, because that is a 15-point move, giving 1 point to your opponent. So only a 14-point move, and he's down by 15. So wouldn't have helped as well. Yeah. Okay, that's what. Sorry, forgot your nickname, VH, mentioned as well. So this time tiles were more equal. But of course, 11 roads for the dog, definitely not great. Especially not these straights here. But it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not convinced. Both did at least some moves I didn't really like. Yeah, again, thanks, Volker. And hi, by the way. I should have remembered. Okay, so, well, my regular starting time for the next match is basically now. So we have roughly 3 minutes until we switch over to phosphate texe. So let's take again a quick look. So Croc with a 2-0 game diff of 6-1, so +5. The worst could be 3-2 matches, 1 and a game diff of +1. +1 is critical. At +2, I guess you should have a 80 or 90% chance to make the playoffs. So basically, if he manages to force tiebreakers in his remaining 2 games, he quite likely would reach the playoffs. And of course, 1 win to push him to 4 match wins would definitely secure a playoff spot. And pretty sure that's what he's aiming for now, especially against Complex V and H, who resides in the USA as well. Yeah, and Doctor, well, 2 sweeps versus Gladky Alex and Kreukle, and he should still have a chance. And giving up even 1 decider, 1 game win to one of these 2 opponents might be 1 too many. So enough for this predictions here. Again, I mean, we did this earlier. Phosphate lost yesterday versus Croc. Is at least my favorite today, but only by a slight margin. I wouldn't favor Phosphate versus Viv. And the match versus White Guru should be more or less on equal footing. So it would behoove them to win this one here today, and quite decisively at that. Same, of course, goes for texe. 2 wins are great, but the tiebreaker isn't. So 3-1 matches might not cover it. Ratings again, texe's top rating 780 something likely, and Phosphate, I don't know, 700 something. Let's check, have they started? Then we'd go there. If not, then let's take a quick look at Phosphate's rating evolution once again, because we already did this an hour ago, but some of you might not have been present back then. So here they started 1.5 years ago. Quick ascent into the master ranks and kept it from then on, rather playing sporadically, but already 1.5k games accumulated. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe my hunch might be wrong even. So yes, there are some out there who'd consider Spaniard to be the favorite, but I'd say I'd give the Chinese player a slight advantage, slight edge, maybe for the match 55, maybe even 60%. Although that's not slight anymore, right? Let's see. Okay, these 2 are blasting out moves here. Not on a FNG or Matej level, but significantly faster than our first match. For now, to the detriment of blue, after the monastery here gets restricted. On the other hand, using the road to Rito here just to protect the monastery and leaving the attacking spot open for yellow to grab was no option. Now they just have to hope and wait to get one of the daggers before yellow manages, well, to kill the square. Although this development here is definitely interesting. So yellow tries to take over the city or get a splitter to relieve their meeple here, while also threatening to kill Blue's monastery. Will they invest the road monastery, though? That is a pretty good question. They won't. They rather go for immediate points, hoping to draw something to block over here before before blue gets a straight, or of course one of the 3 remaining left-handed daggers. So actually there are right now, after both road monasteries are gone, 8 tiles positive for blue. And on the other hand, there are way more for yellow. So vanillas, extenders, twin caps, monasteries. Here we go. There is a vanilla. I'm pretty sure they'll kill this now. And they claim the field. Yeah, sounds nice. Sounds like the best approach in this case. Blue restricts just to pay back the 2 monasteries of yellow to one of 2 remaining right-handed daggers. Also more or less secures the chances to still close the city. Yellow took away blue's 8-point city up top. Also restricted blue on the left side. Let's see. Blue went for the total kill of yellow's monasteries. Yellow indirectly defended quite effectively. So now we have the situation we had before next to blue's monastery for yellow, just mirrored. So with the other dagger needed, and as there are only 2 left, as I've said, chances for yellow are even worse than they were for blue up top. Although at least 2 of the vanillas were drawn in the meantime, and this extender as well. So maybe it's not that bad after all. But all my talk doesn't really matter if yellow, of course, just draws one of the daggers. So this then should more or less have won them the game. I mean, they are at plus 20. City of Blues restricted, and even if it gets closed, it's a 0-point move, as this would also pad yellow's field. Very nice move by yellow, taking away a splitter move, taking away the chance for blue to take over this city, just trying to create ruin, while also, of course, trying to kill another of blue's meeples, and now also equalizing blue's best hope to get a meeple back. Yeah, doesn't look great at all. Splitter move taken away. Blue even closes the city because they desperately need a meeple back. So just in case they get their hands on a Dorito, at least they'd get this one. So with only 1 right-handed dagger left, they restrict this square to the rose. And finally got a starting tile and a meeple back to at least have a fighting chance, even though they are down minus 19. Yeah, yellow dropped this because they were way more likely to claim this cap, and it's also on their field, of course. But yellow needs to claim this first, get a rose, possibly even still going for this one here could be an option. So if they manage to close this, still 2 triples out there. That could be one way back into the game. Quite likely they need to liberate their city meeple first to at least have something to score quick points. Yeah, this is double-edged. For one, it created the chance for yellow to kill this. On the other hand, if blue had gotten or would get a cow, they would still connect, and then there would be no re-attack possible for yellow. Yeah, so blue manages to score a few points while also liberating 1 meeple each. Yellow with this, and yeah, there is not much to do here for blue except for taking over this, and yellow could at least restrict the chances of being successful there by limiting this. Basically, then blue would need to draw the rose and afterwards the dagger, and that's a pretty tough ask when both of these tiles are only once in the deck. Yeah, but I mean, at plus 24, even winning this city for blue wouldn't be enough. But yellow does what they should have done. Yeah, maybe blue. Rather like this, maybe. No, like that seems to be better. Could take, could restrict this possible blocking platform creation square. But they just dump the curve at the bottom and the rose falls to yellow anyway. Yeah, quite likely taking a few points, also adding another city to the field. And then it's officially garbage time. Yeah, blue attacks the field, doesn't matter at all. And yellow could try to equalize on the left. It's not even blockable. But they don't need to. I mean, they could also go for this one here, creating another 6-point, possibly 9-point field. Okay, try to harass blue city. Whatever. Equalize this now, still. 2 Doritos out there. Yeah, overall, looks pretty convincing. A rather clinical approach by Phosphate. Have to check this monastery build-up. Not sure who had placed the horse there, and it was Phosphate. Okay, then that might not have been ideal, giving blue this restriction chance. Although in that case, might have been at the point in the game when all three were still available, although I think this came earlier. Oh, let's check. Yeah. So blue got this dagger, and then yellow went there for the 3+1 points. Not as safe could be, but not a big problem anyway. Although, if blue manages to close this city pretty early with one of these daggers, with then only one left, blue would have had the meeple majority. Basically could have done what yellow did, create a field and add cities. The game definitely would have taken another path. Okay, quick look at the stats. This time, yeah, texe with the majority of roads definitely doesn't help in most games. All extenders for phosphate, more caps. Yeah. And of course, getting monasteries when you can use them pretty early on rather than later in the game when you don't have the meeples takes care, even if your opponent gets the majority of monasteries. So it's not just the tiles, which basically I should add as a disclaimer to this stats section. It's also in which situation you get the tiles. And sometimes, I mean, you just need a perfect piece at the perfect time, and it doesn't matter whether your opponent draws 18 caps or not. Yeah, this time texe is wasting precious clock time. Looks like they are talking about starting players. Okay, then. Phosphate, if that were the case, or if that is the case, is correct. Yeah, okay, they are talking about the starting players. And frankly, I'd expect anyone plays a tournament to at least quickly check the relevant section of the rules. So at least a bit of shame on texe. Why? There's a perfectly healthy road here. Claim it like this, claim it like that. Pressure yellow's city, take away continuation options from yellow, which would also add the pressure on your city. Yeah. Looks like there is a meeple on this space, but BGA hasn't updated this correctly. There isn't. Well, then I don't understand blue's moves here. And yeah, suffering ensues. Two daggers left, and even if they get one, an immediate restriction or attack quite likely would be incoming. And still they continue their city. Not a huge fan, actually. Not if you have a route where you could add a point while also claiming a cap. On the other hand, if you don't place it there now, yellow might restrict this, and in worst cases, even with tempo. So, shame. I would have loved a content move like that. At least threatening to kill two of yellow's meeples as well. Blue opts for a safer approach, dumps the cow on the right side. And this situation here is very fragile for phosphate. There's definitely no ideal solution now, because once they connect, this would give very, very sinister options to blue, forcing yellow's meeple here into the killed square with one splitter already being played on the board. And if yellow just closes their city, well then blue might jump on this one here. Or in some cases, or in exactly one case, could even try to take over a shared city. I mean, if you're desperate and there's still the hope of drawing the starting tile, we'd see. Yeah, DrCaiHan, what do you do? I would have at least considered this move for a tad longer, because it isn't as worse, as bad as it seems to be. Just think about it. If yellow gets a curve, yeah, they kill your city, but they have to restrict both of their cities. And if they get a Dorito, they'd more or less had to connect their cities, which isn't ideal as well. So basically, everything over here wasn't great for yellow. So yeah, I think this might have been a risk worth taking. Okay, in the meantime, blue with this one? What the F? Next to a road end? Why? There's not even a shield on it. I mean, talking about digging your own grave here. Yeah, so a ruin for blue. Another ruin for blue. I mean, yellow has to kill it, else they'd give blue a 66% chance to close the city. There are still 2 twin caps out there and only 1 extender. 2 are at the bottom right. Yeah. So at least quite likely blue will win this mini battle. And yeah, maybe play against this one. Yeah, try to kill this. Then you'd have at least tight meeples for the rest of the game. Once yellow gets the monk liberated. Blue rather takes the road. Yeah, sure. Looks like they only take roads with at least 1 road end already being present. Yep, and yellow gets this one, claims the field as well. Seems to be okay. There is still potential. Of course, there's this cap. There's an option to expand to the left. You have at least this one green square. Works like a charm for them. For now, blue at the bottom extracts at least some value, or goes for some value extraction from yellow's monastery. Because if yellow wants to get the monk back, hey, they have to pad blue's ruin there. Okay. Now blue claims this 7-point road. Well, we'll see. There are still road ends available. Will they then attack the field with a second farmer immediately? Interesting decision here. I don't really like this. Sure, there are still enough caps out there to close this, but it sets up this 4-point loop while you already need road pieces at the bottom. Also, what is this? I mean, there is already a city up top, and there aren't basically enough Doritos out there. Sure, it was still possible to close this with Doritos, maybe with the splitter as well, but it's just a tad too unlikely this late in the game to be successful with that approach. So why not just add this cap later to your ruin? I mean, would be 1 point. Yeah, not great, actually. Not great, especially not if there's still a quad city out there and what was it? One of the cows. Yeah, that's a rather rough sequence of moves for blue here. This extender doesn't really help as well. But I mean, if you're trying to close that city, I guess you have to risk at least something there. Yeah, yellow with a nice monastery spot, taking away the rows as road end, leaving only the road monastery that's still left. Yeah, it's now in yellow's hands, and 2 crossroads. Okay, yellow takes 2 points up top, restricts blue's city to the 2 vanillas. Yeah, splitter is gone. But it crucially takes away the right-handed dagger to complete the city. And that was the tile blue already had in hand. And now, boy, that's a tough one. If yellow goes there, it would be a 50-50 restriction, but then they'd rather use this cap like that. So they could use this to attack, but they are only at +3. They still have a chance to gain this meeple back. It would be nice. Could win them the game. The monastery is also still alive. Yeah, but they opt for a simpler approach, just taking 5 points, and I think that is the exact right choice at this point here. Blue should rather protect this because yeah, more or less everything at the road, but a regular monastery, and the twin caps would kill their city up top, whereas this connection could still be achieved with other tiles. Yeah, I would expect yellow to take away the road ends from blue. Maybe like, does it matter? Doesn't really matter. Maybe this is more precise, as I could use this later. So for example, with the dagger in hand, yellow could kill this while also opening up the chance to score 8 points. Yeah, on the other hand, some cases, maybe blue gets the vanilla early enough and might even claim another city. But now, oh, blue needs the vanilla now. The city is at 7. If closed, that's 9 points. 9 points would be a +1 for them temporarily. And then all would come down to the last move. Maybe claiming this field. On the other hand, there is still this one. Straight works here, vanilla works there, but you'd have to play against the vanilla, so have to find something to extract great value while you don't get the vanilla. This here has the advantage of the twin cap still there, so that would then be a 6-point field. The question though is, are these 3 points enough? And the answer is no, they aren't. Because if blue scores 9, they'd be at -2 if yellow now claims 3 points, and on their last move, blue could take 3 points for a +1 win. What else is there? But if yellow doesn't take the field, then blue at least has the 1 in 6 chance of getting the vanilla, and in the end, 6-point field? No, actually not. So if yellow claims these 4 points now, blue gets the 9. That would be -3 for blue. And then yellow just takes away the 6-point option. And then there are only 3-point options left. No, there's a 6-point field on the right side as well. But that, yeah, and that could be taken with the twin caps. Yeah, yellow found the better move. And actually the winning move. That's a 7-point monastery, and that secures a tie, even in the 1 in 6 chance that blue was able to hit. Yeah, tough for blue then. They hit the best permutation of all 6 remaining. But yellow found the perfect place. And again, they just focused on the worst permutation here. They expected their opponent to draw the perfect tiles and then went on the hunt for one solution and got it. Well done, Phosphate. So they won't least my trust in them. And this time even, well, I'd say with worse tiles than blue. Less caps, more roads, less crossroads. Okay, 5-1 monasteries, but only one completed. On the other hand, they scored 15-21 for their 3 remaining incomplete monasteries. Yeah, great endgame. Then yes, it matters. Oh, being the starting player, yeah, of course it matters. If you tie the game, but chances to win a game are definitely better if you are the starting player. On this level, it should be rather a 55% chance or so. Well, if both players are of equal strength, let's say. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at this one again. Yeah, I don't think that blue's chances would have been better if they had used this curve here instead of protection as field connection, because then the chances to immediately kill their city, which was their only hope to still have a fighting chance in this game. Well, these chances would have been gone. Yeah, they would have. Except for this one monastery. So a 1 in 8 chance, nah, I think trusting in getting this vanilla was the better approach. It just came a bit too late. I would have loved this to hit earlier, so they would have had 2 more moves after this one, and then the monastery is trickier even due to these fields here, this option to still score 4 points. Yeah, there were definitely other permutations that would have even been more interesting than the one we hit. Okay, I think I'd like to take a look at this city again, especially at yellow's moves here. I'm not convinced that was prime handling of this threat. So let's take a look. Yellow is on the right side. And did they get the horse? There, and the dagger was way early. Okay, so roughly move 30. Let's check. When did they get? Okay, so blue started here, then yellow, blue, yellow again. Okay, got it. Yeah, so no complaints about this one. And just looks like that's the cost of doing business, right? Sometimes you have to go for it, and even if you lose one of your meeples in the end, it might still be worth it. Yeah. So yeah, looks like sound moves by yellow, even if it's troublesome for blue. Not troublesome for blue, troublesome for them to have 2 meeples here, and quite likely losing one or losing the chance to unite on these city parts. And then let's skip to blue's twin caps. Let's move 80. No, that's earlier. Okay, then I missed the first currents or looked on the wrong side. Okay, maybe I should pin table headers then. What is it? Move 48. Yeah, so blue's twin caps. Would we ever place them here? At a point when we have more meeples and a lead. Definitely an interesting question. But I think that's too much of a content move. Just take a field, for example, on the right side. That's good enough, or not sure what they did. Claim a new city here works as well. Okay, then that's it for me for now. Hope to see you later at 19 UTC for Mosopal Krishna. Thanks for sticking around. Bye-bye.